Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 4 The Last Revelations of his 115 speaking. Let me... Actually no, I will not welcome you until we do something about the music volume. It is pretty damn loud, so let me just decrease it a little so that my commentary can be heard. Just like in the Chambers of Tulun with the mechanical Minotaur chasing us, this music will keep repeating itself over and over and over up until the second stage of the level, right? So let me just do something about that. With that out of the way, let me welcome you to the Temple of Horus, the final, last showdown, the last revelation in a certain way. This is basically what everything has been leading up to. You know, the game started in what's been referred to as the present day, which at the time of the release of the game was the year 1999, and we are just hitting New Year's Eve, the year 2000. That's why the stars are aligned correctly, and that's why we've managed to trigger, well, that amazing moonbeam whose shine we can kind of still make out in the corridor leading into the inside of the Great Pyramid. Now, what's important is that we have all the different treasures in our inventory, right? Both gauntlets, both greaves, the breastplate, and the Amulet of Horus. I think one of these gauntlets we picked up back in Karnak, the other one and the two greaves and breastplate all in different parts of Alexandria, and then the Amulet of Horus as the first item in the Valley of Kings, how we released Seth in the first place. Still have the God's Keys though, very nice. Now the four Holy Scriptures, those are we found relatively recently underneath the Sphinx in order to be able to continue. And mind you, we still have that small water skin from Mastabas, very important. So, let me explain what we'll be doing here. And I'm sorry for talking over this beautiful piece of music. I love this puzzle, I've been really looking forward to it. So first things first, there is something, whoa, quite rotten behind these bars. Let's get our binocs out, again, looking for any excuse to use them. Oh, whoa, there you are, you ugly thing. So, let me welcome you to the realm of Ammit The Devourer of Hearts. This is basically her territory, and, well, if she doesn't like you, she will try and devour your heart. Whoa, 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 whoa. How dare you! Keep your paws to yourself. This is hilarious. So, yeah, the Devourer of Hearts, if she doesn't like the way of your heart because of your bad deeds, or in more modern way we would say sins, if it weighs too heavily, and it's not as light as this feather of, I'm not sure if it's feather of truth or justice, something along those lines, the cage will open and Ammit will come out for you, and I'm gonna show you that exactly. Now, I absolutely love this puzzle because it combines the original Egyptian mythos, and actually it's kind of fun to figure out as well. Now, again, depending on where you're coming from in ancient Egypt, you know, not getting into the afterlife might be a good thing, because some people were destined to be servants. I mean, bloody hell, it's not enough to do it for one lifetime, you have to do it afterwards as well. Ah, these ancient beliefs. Fascinating, but cruel in their own way. Anyway, this adventurer probably got their heart devoured, but he left one very important thing in here, which will help us trick the ancient Egyptian justice system into thinking Lara is of pure heart, which she definitely is not after all the people she killed, right? So, this was in fact a large water skin, so sort of an upgrade to the smaller one we found back in Mastabas, and I'm scrolling the wrong way again, still haven't learned it at the very end of the game. So here's the interesting thing that you will not see outright, but the small water skin, just like it had in Mastabas level, has the capacity of 3 liters. The large water skin has the capacity of 5 liters, right? Now guess how many liters this feather weighs. And let's ignore for a moment that we're talking about liters in ancient Egypt, okay? It doesn't matter, the developers just want to put some unit of water that's familiar to modern day gamers. I'm okay with that. This inscription right here is the hint. 2 waterly lines means 2 units of water or 2 liters. If you remember back at the elemental altar of water in the Mastabas level, there were actually 3 lines, so we had to pour the entire contents of the small water skin into it, because it has the capacity of 3 liters. Now, you can't really summon your inventory by pressing the action key anywhere here, nor next to the weights or anything like that. You actually have to do this manually, and I approve. So open up your inventory screen, press use to fill out the large one, and it's a really simple math. How do you get 2 out of 5? You deduce it by 3. So, the cool thing is, by combining, Lara will actually transfer some of the water amounts. Now, this one is full, containing 3 liters. This one is, you know, less than a half full and has only 2 liters, which is exactly the sweet amount that we want. theoretically, if you were to pour in the incorrect one, what would happen? So let me show you exactly. Let's pour in 3, you know, our heart weighs heavily, see, it's lower than the actual feather of truth. Well, be very careful, because Ammit approaches. Whoa! In a fiery explosion, well, we kill her, but then she respawns inside the cage all over again, right? So you can repeat this as much as you want, theoretically rack up all the kills that you want, but just like with the 3 monkeys in the Mastabas level, okay, she looks kind of adorable here, I wanted to show you what would happen if you were to kill her, right? So I wanted to do this at least once, and of course there's no limitation to how many times you can do this with your unlimited pistols ammo, right? I love the patience she has, you know, thinking she'll get us next time. Don't underestimate modern day weaponry, right? Now, the cool thing is, we are actually gonna encounter her 2 more times, so at any point you're up for some Ammit killing, you can just do that, but I'm gonna do it just once, like I did here for demonstration purposes. Now, putting the correct amount, 2 liters, see, it's completely balanced with the feather, and down we go. Again, as I said, I love this puzzle because it's a slight brain teaser and also applies using direct Egyptian myth of being judged after you pass on, but the thing I don't like is that we are going to repeat it 2 more times, which is not particularly original. But then again, you will at least have to target different amounts of water, so yeah, that's kind of fun. Because the challenge is different. The second one is actually going to be the most difficult, if we can call it that. Now, Seth is really throwing everything he has at this point, right? His royal guard, the most terrifying creatures of nightmares, the bats. We're gonna keep encountering quite a few of these little guys. And guess what? If this looks familiar, well, that's because it is. You know what? Let me get those binocs out again. See if we can get it. Oh, there you are. Okay. But I'm not letting you out, not even for a short stroll, because we're gonna get this correct, the toughest one, right? So again, the inscription is slightly different now. It shows 4 lines of water. So this can be fairly tricky. Now, we have both of our water skins empty, so we are gonna have to take some extra steps. If you didn't, you know, empty the 3-liter one, then you can save up on doing 2 steps. But if you didn't, let's just start from the beginning, right? So let's take the big one, put it into the smaller one. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna empty the small one. Alright. So what was the point, you might ask? Well, here's the kicker. We have 2 in the large water skin, so if we put that again, we have 2 in the small water skin. Now, all we need to do is refill the large water skin again and chip that 1 liter away from its 5 total, bringing us to 4, and guess what? We'll have 4 liters. It's as easy as that, right? So not much to it, really. It's a very satisfying puzzle, you know, much better than having a piece of papyrus giving us alphabetical letters next to hieroglyphics, which means nothing for sequence order, but there you go. So this was pretty damn easy, but again, the thing I'm not a fan of is we're gonna have to go through Seth's Royal Guard again. This time 3 of them. I'm not sure if we're gonna survive. One of them is stuck. Lara's aim is terrible, but all 3 are finally down. That's not it, however. Oh no, sir. There's gonna be 3 more beds, but I think I'm gonna get rid of them in a very fun kind of way, because, you know, want to keep things fresh. So let's get that grenade launcher ready. Why not? I'm sick and tired of these guys. This is the final time we are encountering bats in this game, and they've been an absolute nightmare to deal with. I think this is what they deserve. Little bits and pieces of bats after a grenade explosion. Oh man, this is great. So not worth it, so excessive, something Lara would absolutely do. This is the final room. Not as easy as the first one, but much easier than the previous one. We need 1 liter, right? So let me just get our inventory real quick and see what stage we're at. Oh! Well, that's easy. We can just put the small one into the big one this time, so we have 3 liters. And now we just refill the small one and put 2 liters into the big one, leaving us with 1 liter in the small one. So actually, the way we left the previous stage even helped us out somewhat. Oh, this is great. Cool, I really like it. Alright, now let's put it in. Again, Summit is in that 3rd cage. I guess I didn't show you. And you know what, I'm not... I think I will consider Ammit to basically be, well... There's an infinite amount of them, pretty much, right? But even if we were to kill all 3 of them, I mean, should I even count it as a kill? I think if the game would keep track of kills, it would definitely count as a kill, even if it respawns. Yeah. Again, it brings us back to the point that Tomb Raider 4 not tracking kills is starting to make a lot of sense, given the unique setups when it comes to enemies. And there we go. Since it's soon, in a few minutes, gonna be the year 2000, there's the powerful moonbeam. Not sure if you can see him, but there at the very bottom you can just barely make out the tip of the statue of Horus. That's where we're after, with all these, I don't know, 100 kilograms of treasures in Lara's backpack. Okay, be very careful here. Do not use the release and re-hold the action key technique here. For some reason there is some blind spot and Lara is unable to re-grab this letter over here. I think it has something to do with all these features around here. By the way, if you want to take a better look, you can backflip and take a look into this room. I wouldn't recommend you do that, because getting back on this ladder is something I have not managed to do since that point. So let's be patient, we are gonna get into this room a bit later on, but that's not gonna be right here right now, alright? Oh, we see 2 effigies of Horus, that was really cute. Okay. And now let's just make a careful drop, so as not to ruin a good run so far. Okay, are you ready for this? The absolute climax of the series so far? The longest and probably the most cryptic game? I hope you are. Okay. That was a really cool swan dive. I'm actually really happy about that. Okay, so you might be wondering, well, how on earth, where are we even gonna start? Are we gonna put the gauntlets in? Are we gonna put the greaves on, the breastplate, the amulet? How are we gonna tackle this? So, you know, maybe thinking back to the logic of the water skins, you can just summon your inventory manually and, well, wait a second, nothing's happening. Why is that, I wonder? You know, the helmet's on, that's really cool, but where's the rest of it? Well, you actually have to put the 4 scriptures from underneath the Sphinx onto the pedestals over here, alright? Otherwise, if you approach the statue, Lara will refuse to do anything, and then, once you have put the 4 scriptures in, Lara will actually automatically start putting things on via a cutscene, right? So, let's do this. The cool thing is, Lara can even interact with these pedestals diagonally. Usually I would expect that'd be a problem in Tomb Raider engine, but not so here, which is really nice. And there we go, the moment you step on even the tile next to the statue of Horus, Lara will start putting in the items. So, let me just quickly bring up the music volume back here. Oh, can you hear me? I feel like I have to shout now. See, this is how loud the music gets. Anyway, if you have a really keen eye, you can see a lot of platforming that will be going on around us, but patience first. Let's see what Lara does now.
once more. Come forth, and you may bow before your god, before he extinguishes your worthless life.
No, no, no! So one cool FMV cutscene later, and here we are facing Seth. What's worse, Horus is gone, back at the stars, as Seth called him, weak cousin, which I'm willing to believe after what happened. Interestingly enough, there was a loading screen, but we are still at the Temple of Horus, right? Our health has refilled, which is awfully thoughtful and nice. I guess that's Horus' doing, not Seth's. But, oh my goodness, not only does the situation seem hopeless, we have basically just been told there will be no boss fight. That's what happened, right? What's cool is the FMV cutscene showed us that there is the Amulet of Horus to re-pick up. I'm not counting this as an extra pickup because it's the item I already counted it a couple of levels back, right? It's why I'm not counting re-picking up torches or crowbars as an extra pickup, so just a little side note. Back to the action at hand. Horus is gone, Seth is running amok, what are we to do? Well, you have probably already noticed a couple of interesting features in this cave. First of all, I'm gonna let my frustration run loose on Seth. Let's juggle the bastard, like this is Mortal Kombat. Oh my goodness. See, this is the mighty god. It's kind of pathetic, actually. Well, the problem is, we are dealing no damage. What we have to do is basically escape. That's our glorious, amazing plan. And the reason why we picked up the Amulet of Horus is to trap Seth in the process, right? Now, a platformer was being shot at by green energy bolts. Doesn't that sound familiar? If only I could remember a Tomb Raider where there was a villain with green energy bolts. And then there was an expansion pack on the same Tomb Raider. And again, we face the same villain with green energy bolts. My memory doesn't serve me well. I think it was this blonde femme fatale designing cosmetic products. Well, and the kind of stronger version of her is an ancient Egyptian god of destruction and death. Yeah. So, you need to access both of these temples and pretty much in order to, well, not just open the way out, but to prime the trapdoor. For insertion of the Amulet of Horus trapping Seth inside. So it is kind of cool that Horus ends up helping Lara indirectly after all. This is usually what happens in the stories when the situation seems hopeless. But why did we store all this ammunition? He's invincible, you know. At least we got to juggle him around a little with that revolver, because it really packs a punch, even God can't take that. But alas, this is so unsatisfying. It's the one and only boss of the Tomb Raider franchise up to this point, which we will not end up defeating. Outsmarting? Yes, although it's not particularly difficult. But the thing that really disappoints me is all the build-up is just... I like the fact that the plan failed. Don't get me wrong, that's such a cool story element. But you should let us do something with the weapons and powers we have collected over the course of the game. Because Lara, right here, platforming as she is no different from Lara who collected all those weapons, if you know what I mean. This is wholly unsatisfying. Anyway, what's scary about this boss fight is that we might end up using a health pack, so that's that. Sure. Depending on how lucky you are with Seth's aim, it can be pretty damn precise or pretty damn terrible. So yeah, this is also very unsatisfying, and I hate this story element, not just in Tomb Raider, but in many stories where there's some ancient evil, and instead of defeating it, you just end up imprisoning it for later use? I also kind of feel sorry for the ancient evil. Anyway, Seth might not be such a bad guy, just has a terrible family, right? Well, too late for that now. He's very much intent on killing Lara, we're not gonna let that happen. I'm sorry, but if I had to choose between Seth and Lara, the choice is very clear. Plus, Lara is pretty much more powerful, she just doesn't want to do this. She just noped the entire boss fight, as did the developers. It feels like something they developed over a lunch break, and not a particularly good lunch break, if you know what I mean. Can we get a view of Seth? Well, there he is, with his hooves, summoning magic bolts. We can barely see him. Oh, we seem to be safe here. Cool, not a bad place to pop a health pack. You know what? Let's do that risky and not pop one in. Let's see if we can survive this. Okay, we just might. I mean, it all depends. He can still kill us right here, right now. Seth, what are you doing? Well, enjoy your new cave with a large pool and enough space for you to frolic around. And, my friends, that's it. This is the climax of our Tomb Raider journey. Through Cambodia, through Valley of Kings, through Karnak, through Alexandria, through Cairo, through Giza. Horus is back in the stars, and Seth is literally beneath this heavy lid. I know it's protected by Amulet of Horus and all that stuff, but it's still just... he's still there. He's here. I mean, we could have at least banished him to other dimension, whatever, something. We could have inflicted damage. Could have been a multi-staged boss fight. He has the ability to possess, to change into locusts. I mean, it's always easy to be a critic and to have a hindsight in such things, but this is truly, truly disappointing. I cannot get over that. It is the worst final boss fight of the franchise so far. Literally every one preceding this I have liked. The Tomb Raider 3 boss fight with Dr. Willard, mutated Dr. Willard in the Meteorite Cavern, removing the sources of his invincibility. That was great! And trying to keep the angle before he could reach you and kill you from up close, always keeping that round circle distance between you. Here you just went from left to right to left to right to up, and that's it. Anyway, there'll be time for closing thoughts later on. Let us finish this majestic game. So, yeah, more crushers, and this time it's a bit trickier to get out, simply because of the step. It basically makes the distance you need to cover a bit higher, but it's nothing too bad. He said and got crushed to death. Now, before we make another step, let me show you something. Again, using our trusty binocs. Please, game, do not crash this time. I just want to show them something. Oh, thank you. Okay, so see the skull icons. If you stamp underneath them, you will have, I think, around a second before a crusher sends Lara to her death, right? That's it. So you can pay close attention to where these are, or you can pretty much just run through the whole damn thing. It really is as easy as that. Now, we should shimmy to the right and climb up there because it's safer, but nah, who cares about that? Okay, that was actually a very close call, alright. And finally, I think, yeah, the right path should do the trick. There we go. Okay, we can still get crushed here, so let's not dawdle. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the final tile of the game. So, very important thing, alright? Let me first make a save here. And let me now show you the statistics screen. So, this, my friends, was the Temple of Horus. We have found all 4 items. Mind you, if you do decide to again count the Amulet of Horus, I just consider it a repick up, as if we dropped a torch or crowbar, so I don't. It would be 5 items, but I consider it 4. We have killed, well, 11 out of infinite enemies. Ammit you can kill over and over. We have killed 10 bats and killed Ammit once, so make that 11. We did not kill Seth, we just left him to chill and enjoy his new room. That's pretty much it. We have found no secrets because there was none in this level, but in the previous one we found the 70th, and therefore over the course of the game we have found all 70 secrets. This is the closest we get to final stats in-game, right? So here on this screen, I also want to just briefly show you how many items we found, how many enemies we've killed, because it's just interesting. So let me at least remedy that with my insertion onto the screen here. And you know what? We're gonna take a closer look at this in the final stats video. For now, thank you very much for being on this journey, and you know, if you're gonna wait for the credits roll to run, I'll still have some closing thoughts about Tomb Raider 4 in general, so it will be my... it's not really a post-credit cutscene, but it's just a small discussion at the very end. So Lara, time for you to run as if your life depended on it.
quickly, girl, before it collapses around you.
You back, Werner? No more set?
No time. Your hands, Lara. Give me your hands. Take my hand. I can pull you to safety.
Good to see you again, Werner.
I couldn't leave you!
Tomb Raider 4. What a game. I have to say, I'm not sure if I love or hate its ending. It really reflects my feelings about the game as a whole, right? I have strong love and hate relationship with it. So I absolutely love the fact that, we've seen in the cutscene, when entering Cairo even, that Seth travels as a swarm of locusts. That's how he possessed Von Croy, to the extent that, well, his eyes started turning red. Back in Alexandria, he didn't believe in all this hocus pocus, and suddenly he was possessed by Seth himself, right? And as soon as Lara put together the armor on the statue of Horus, inserted the amulet and the holy scriptures, Seth was like, nope, we have other priorities. We need to get out of this old man and into the pyramid and tell Lara she's way out of her league. So again, he traveled as a swarm of locusts and destroyed the statue, and Lara still outsmarted him. I like that. Does not make it a good boss fight. What it does make good is Von Croy again. He no longer was therefore possessed, and he actually came to Lara's rescue, probably feeling guilt. Their relationship is so absolutely fascinating. He is her mentor, yet he was very jealous at seeing she's better than he was at her age. It went to the extent of actually them trying to kill each other. Then he was possessed, and then he tries to save her life. It's a complicated and absolutely beautiful relationship, and this is probably why I do like the ending, and I also understand why the developers wanted to kill Lara off. They were sick and tired of the annual releases. They wanted to work on something else, do something other with their lives. They were completely burned out. And the problem is, this is something I felt as I was playing the game. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I was burned out playing it. It is very long, and I don't think there is a level which expresses this better than Mastavas. Just the same corridors over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So, again, I have very mixed feelings. I feel very tired after finishing this game. And I feel it really overstayed its welcome. It just didn't know when to end, and furthermore, its basically running time was extended by introducing the non-linearity into it, some adventure game elements, which honestly, I would struggle doing a walkthrough for this far more if I didn't have quite a lot of experience putting together guides for adventure games as well. Understanding the nature of what are some scripted dependencies, what are randomized dependencies, in which order is most efficient, and lore-wise making sense to tackle certain things where I as a player have a freedom, that sort of thing. And the problem with non-linearity in Tomb Raider 4 is that it did nothing to make the game better. It only made you constantly feel this nasty nagging feeling at the back of your head that you missed something. That's what this non-linearity achieved, and as such, I'm not a fan of it in Tomb Raider 4. I'm not saying it cannot be done well, but it simply was not done well here, like many new mechanics introduced, and it's a strange mixed bag, because the game, I cannot with full confidence say it was rushed. I mean, it was released in a year, which is insane. But at the same time, it's so very long, so I don't know how they managed to pull this off. In that way, it is really impressive, and really, it's probably, in terms of the enemy encounters and the number of health packs we use, definitely the easiest Tomb Raider game to date, and yet it's the scariest one, the one that seemed most daunting, even more so than the original Tomb Raider 3. So, again, it feels great to have finally dominated it as a completionist, and this should have been my favorite Tomb Raider. When I heard about it as a kid, it's supposed to be released in ancient Egypt, I was reading magazines, all these things. I was like 4.5 years old. I kind of knew how to read then, I was mostly watching the pictures, and it just didn't cut it. I pretty much liked every other Tomb Raider preceding it way more than I did the last Revelation, which to a certain extent breaks my heart. Now, is it a bad Tomb Raider? Yes and no. And, I spent a lot of time trashing the game about how I find certain elements frustrating, and I did that during the entirety of its journey, but still I did it because the journey feels absolutely epic, right? Completing it 100% makes me very, very proud. And what I'm really looking forward to is really going to be the final statistics video. It's gonna be interesting, you know, to try and tackle the game in the same approach like we did with previous ones, which were globe-trotting adventures, and yet here it was Cambodia and then just Egypt. But what they managed to pull off with the different textures and lightning effects and atmosphere in different parts of the Egypt, you could clearly distinguish Giza from Cairo, from Alexandria, from the Valley of Kings, from Cambodia. Oh, and let's not forget about Karnak, probably the most beautiful part of the game. So, in that regard, I'm very impressed. The atmosphere, some of the puzzles that actually made sense were truly glorious. It is a point where really the developers showed some mastery over the engine. It's just, I wish it would be shorter and paced better. Anyway, no point in talking about what the game could have been. We'll be doing plenty of that when I'll be tackling Angel of Darkness. Oh dear, what am I getting myself into? Anyway, one thing that I also want to point out is there is still one more level that we will play, however, that is PC version specific. You know how Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3 all got their expansion pack, just for PC? Tomb Raider 4 got just one level, but that is fair enough, it is already too long. So there's the Times exclusive level, which I will be playing, but I will be releasing the final stats video before that, because I'm not gonna make the Times exclusive level part of the final stats. Simply because, well, the console players didn't get to play it, and it's not really part of the main game, right? It wouldn't be fair to edit there. We'll see if I'll decide to do some elaborate statistic screen just for the Times exclusive level as part of that video. We'll see. That is for the future. So you have the final stats to look forward to, the Times exclusive level, which actually looks very much like this main menu screen, to be honest. So if you ever wanted to explore the spaces shown here, Times exclusive level will have you covered. And after that, of course, Tomb Raider 5 will be next, and let me just throw it out there, I have very fond memories of Tomb Raider 5, and I think I'm gonna have a blast and even better time tackling it than Tomb Raider 4, simply because of the variety and it being overall a more shorter, concise adventure. Now, after Tomb Raider 4, and I imagine even more so after the final statistics screen and the Times exclusive level, I might feel a bit burnt out, we'll see. So before I'll be tackling Tomb Raider 5, I might tackle something else. I mean, there's still Painkiller, Siberia 3, Black Mirror 2017, Broken Sword 3, and I was even toying with the idea of doing 2 Mass Effect playthroughs, Original Trilogy and Legendary Trilogy, Renegade, Paragon, Female, Male. It's an idea that I had in my mind, well, not about the Legendary Edition, but about 2 playthroughs since like, high school years, so that's something with my new hardware that I'm feeling more confident to tackle. We'll see what's next, but final stats and Times exclusive level next, definitely. And finally, you know, I've been trashing about this game so much, but thank you so much, Tomb Raider 4, Last Revelation, for some of the fondest childhood memories I ever had, for creating a sense of adventure and dread that still persists to this day when I'm an adult. Whatever this journey was, it was probably the most epic Let's Play I've ever done, and for that alone, I will always remember it very fondly. So thank you guys for being with me on this journey, and I will see you guys next time in the final stats view.